I woke up at 40 and I was in a very different place than I thought I would be. And I just remember feeling, wow, I do not want to wake up at 45 feeling the way I feel today. All right, today is going to be interesting. I'm actually getting interviewed by some of my buddies for a podcast. So I figured I'd shoot the interview to share it with everybody. It's going to be nice to be on the other side of the chair and getting asked some questions and sharing my stories. So we're here at Love Child today, and this is where the interview is going to be happening at Love Child Social House. Cool concept some of my friends created. It's like a co-working shared office facility that's all focused on love and creating positive impact and just bringing together the right group of like-minded individuals, which I think is just an awesome idea. Yo.
How you doing, man?
You all right?
You good? How's everything? You look great as always. But you just tell me how you moved. If I'd known, I would have set up the room properly.
Dude, it's all good.
Dan gave me like 10:20. I was here till 4 a.m.
Wow.
He's like, yo, you gotta let Zarek in. I go, what do you mean you gotta let Zarek in? He's like, he's coming right now. And I was like, all right. I was like, if it's for Z, I go, if it's for Z, I'll wake up and get out of my bed.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
No, when it was you. If it was anybody else, I would have said, nah.
Thank you.
First time in Love Child. It's not a bad joint.
Cool spot, right?
Cool spot. So today, the City Podcast on a Saturday. Special edition for us all today. We have Zarek Fata in the house, and we're going to talk life, pretty much. What he's up to, you know what I mean? Some stuff. He's got some things up his sleeve to tell us, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we're going to have some fun. So make sure you check out everybody's YouTube page, Instagram. We'll give you all that stuff at the end of the show. But we got a lot to say, we got a lot to talk about, so I'm looking forward to this.
So welcome to the City Podcast. I'm Steve Mealing.
And my name is Chad Cranston, and today we have the special guest. His name is Zarek Fata, which I've known for quite some time, and I've seen you grow exponentially in the city of Toronto, a staple in the city of Toronto. Here's my shameless plug here with Zarek. This is what I'm going to do from this guy. Zarek Life has just established, but it's been going on for a very long time. And there's a story behind it, and today we'd like to talk about that story and everything else that goes on with Mr. Zarek.
Hold on, what's Zarek Life? You're assuming someone knows. I don't.
You don't know what Zarek Life is?
Well, how about you guys fill me in on it? What is it?
Sure. Okay. So Zarek Life is a YouTube channel that I launched recently.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's essentially that. It is a collection of videos that have my travels, my charitable contributions, and also featuring other people's charities. And then some of the fitness stuff, showcasing different ways to work out, letting people know you don't just have to go to a gym to work out, that you could actually take a group fitness class. You could do, a TRX workout in your hotel room. You could pretty much train many different ways, not having to be just in a gym environment, to make training, staying fit, and maintaining a healthy lifestyle more manageable and approachable, because some people don't want to go to a gym. They're just intimidated to walk into a gym. So through my fitness journey, through the whole competition thing, and then doing well at it, moving on past that.
Competition thing.
Yeah.
You got to remember, I don't know about these
Got
things.
it, right. Okay.
I do know
you don't know about his competition?
No, well, we just established before we clicked up here.
Right.
Since 90 or mid-90s I've
Yeah.
known you. And there was a big gap. I kind of stayed away from King West and everything else going on. I did my own thing elsewhere.
Got it.
So fill me in as
Sure.
a listener and someone sitting in front of you.
Yeah, okay. So the gym for me has been almost kind of like my religion. It's what really has kept me in line, kept me focused, and taught me a lot about commitment and discipline while growing up. I dropped out of high school at a really early age, never really listened to anyone, just kind of did my own thing, and was never athletic, never played sports, never... I was the last kid to get picked on the team, I was that guy. I reference E.T. as my body type. E.T. the extraterrestrial. Until I was about 17, I had skinny arms, legs, a little belly. That was it. So I started working out at a pretty early age, and what the gym taught me was put the work in every day when nobody's watching, when nobody's counting your reps. Do it because you want to do it for you. Put the work in. One day you wake up, you look in the mirror, and there's that transformed version of you, and I applied that commitment, discipline into all aspects of my life. When nobody was asking me to do it, nobody was expecting me to do it, I was able to apply that focus, commitment into doing what I wanted to do because it's something I wanted bad enough. So the gym has always helped keep me in line.
It's like an anchor.
Yeah, totally. And it's always been that kind of, I guess, what's allowed me to stay balanced and not, enjoy the perks of the nightclub business, whether it be the drinking or the drugs or the women and the late nights and all that. I mean, look, I'm human. I enjoy a little bit of some of that, but knowing that I got to get up in the morning, get to the gym, knowing that nothing feels better than going for that run or, crushing a great workout.
Especially after a night of drinking.
Yeah.
It's hard to get there, but afterwards, you're not fogged. From experience, I say that.
Totally.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So, the gym taught me a lot about commitment, discipline, focus, and just work really hard, put in the effort, stay committed, and the results will come. So for me, the gym has always been what's kept me in line. And a big turning point in my life was when I turned 40. I woke up and realized that I wasn't where I thought I was going to be. I personally, professionally, financially, I was just way off where I thought I'd be at 40. I thought I'd be married. I thought I'd have kids and family. I thought I would definitely be at a nightlife. Wouldn't be depending on running and owning nightclubs to be my primary source of income. And I definitely did not think I would wake up in debt at 40.
So is that because you established what you thought you were going to be at 40 when you're 20? Or is it something that when you're 30? Because we're about the same age. So,
yeah.
It almost is like you wake up and you just count what's going on around you.
I think when you're in your 20s, 40 sounds so far away that you think, oh yeah, by the time I'm there, I'm going to have this, I'm going to have that, I'm going to be at that place. And, in my 30s, life was great. My trajectory was just on point. Things were going really well. And I have to admit that I just became a bit complacent. I was enjoying my success a little too much, taking my eye off the ball, and not really thinking about those goals I wanted for my life at 40 and asking myself, are my actions and the decisions I'm making, the women I'm dating, the money I'm spending, the venues I'm investing into, are these actions in line with who I want to be when I'm 40? And the answer is no. I woke up at 40 and I was in a very different place than I thought I would be. And I just remember feeling, wow, I do not want to wake up at 45 feeling the way I feel today. And I just knew that, okay, I got to make some serious changes in my life because for the last 10 years, I've been living life and I have no regrets in that sense. Like, I've traveled, had great girlfriends, I've been to amazing events. Like, I think I've done a lot of what a young man who wants to be successful has done.
I think still some men that are successful that want,
Living on
that
the
are trying to
edge.
find themselves that haven't had that self-actualization yet of like what really truly makes them happy as well too. On
Absolutely. And I think when you kind of run through that list of all the things, you check all the boxes and it's like, okay, now what? Even what I realized, which really hit me, was all the things I had been chasing, all the things I'd been working towards, the identity I had created and the lifestyle I was living was actually what was in the way of me having what I really wanted, which was financial security, a career outside of nightlife, and the relationship with the woman of my dreams so I could have that family. The lifestyle I was living was completely contradictory to what it was I was working for.
Sometimes life gets in the way, though. That's exactly what it is.
Absolutely.
And
Well,
they'll throw you a curveball.
it's not just life gets in the way. I was in my own way because the life I was living was not aligned with the life I wanted to have. So, 40 hit me pretty hard. And, I guess 40 is that age for most people where we start to think, wow, half my life is gone. And that went by like that. What happened?
It's like the new midlife crisis is 40.
I mean, I do believe we're all going to live to 120. So,
Do you want to?
well,
You know what I mean?
my
back
let's
hurts
see if we
right
can
now,
turn this
man.
planet around.
Stop,
Hopefully,
sit up.
I'm sitting up right now.
Let's do this for a
course
sec.
tight.
Let's take a time machine back to 20. So we can give some people an idea of what you're at when you were at 20. And more or less, how does that lead You were talking about how you got into your fitness.
Yeah.
How did you get into your career where people know you from?
Let's
Yeah,
go back
okay.
to 4 nuts and a bolt.
Okay.
Well, that might
back
be
to those good days.
Hold on, that might be a bit further down the line.
Yeah.
Let's even go there.
It
then.
is.
No, that was
actually.
actually that,
Your mid-20s then.
Yeah, that was in my mid-20s. Yeah. So as I
math's not
mentioned,
my strong
I left high school at an early age. At around 17, I dropped out and I discovered the gym, and I was just all in on the gym. I was just obsessed with working out. Like for me, it was like the bigger I got, the more confident I felt, the more women I dated, the more, I was filling that void, that I just wanted to be accepted, wanted to be liked, wanted to be popular. So the gym was what was kind of feeding my ego in that sense. And I discovered nightlife at an early age, and as soon as I saw the bright lights of the big city, I was like, wow, what is this world?
Did you grow up in Toronto?
I grew up in Scarborough.
Okay.
So growing up in Scarborough, I had an uncle I have an uncle who's a few years older than me that would bring me downtown to the clubs. I was just like, wow, what is this world? Focus. I used to go to Focus, and ironically, Club Z, Charles Caboose's first club, And I just fell into nightlife. I was at a club one night, and dancing, having fun, and this woman approaches me and says, hey, how would you like to work here? And I'm like, sorry, excuse me, doing what? She's like, as a dancer, would you like to work with us as a dancer? Yeah, and this was at Club Energy.
Wow.
In Mississauga.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That was a good time. Oh, that place was dope.
Yeah, it was
was
back
a
in the
good
day.
time.
Yeah. And when I tell people, all the clubs used to be in the suburbs.
Yeah.
They weren't downtown. You had to drive half hour, 40 minutes to get to a club. Imagine that was the case today. That would never work.
Yeah.
No.
I said to her, wait a minute. So you're going to pay me to do what I'm doing now, and I get to dance with you? She said, yeah. I'm like, I'm in. So at 18, I started working in
Let me
nightclubs.
guess, was your shirt on or off?
I was wearing like a tank top. Like I was one of those little Gino douchebag types that would go to a nightclub with a tank top. Yeah. So I mean, 18, 19, I was already pretty fit. So,
So you're fully King West before it was King West.
yeah, I guess so. So
The originator of King
I might have
West.
been a bit more
Well, he is.
Woodbridge at that time. I don't know. So anyway, she hired me, and I'm working this club, dancing with these very attractive,
Beautiful women.
getting paid to do it. And I'm loving it. I'm 18, 19. And so I did the club thing, go-go dancing thing for a few years. And that's not, some people know it. That's not common knowledge. At least I don't think so. But, that's out there now, I
Wait,
guess.
there's a Throwback Thursday picture coming somewhere.
Oh, yeah, I'm
Let's see,
sure.
what was
You know
it
what would be
called?
better?
Energy?
Throwback
All right.
Thursday video.
Oh, you know what?
Damn.
Somebody actually tagged me in like an Electric Circus
I was
video.
gonna say,
I'm like,
that's
oh
your
my God,
downfall.
please don't tell me I'm in this video. I wasn't, but it was just funny because, yes, I did do a couple episodes of Electric Circus. For
course
all
you
the
did.
youngings watching this out there, that is a show where we used to dance for free on television.
At Much Music.
At Much Music,
Hold
yeah.
on. In
Yeah.
front of a window on Queen Street West, where
Yeah.
Queen and John, what
Yeah.
used to be the hub of the entertainment district for downtown Toronto.
Massive.
This is
So
true.
basically, people watched him dance through a window.
Yeah, that's... yeah.
Was any
So
money
I've
exchanged
seen
over
you
that?
watch. I've seen you on TV dancing on a Friday night.
The
With Monica
things you
Diol.
do when you're 18, 19 and just want the attention.
Did you have
right?
blonde hair at the time? Did
I
you have
didn't.
the,
Never
did you
did
have
that,
The,
no.
what's that
You had
called
frosted
again?
tips.
Frosted tips.
Yeah, how about we move on past the go-go dancing stage? So then,
I don't know. Who brought that up?
Yeah, no, we've all done this. Well, I've never go-go danced before, but I
Dance
will.
with your shirt off and
All the time.
front of
Still
a
do it.
window?
I still do it right now.
He'll still do it. Throw him
Yeah,
a 20.
boxers.
He's all about it. Get up on the table.
See my calves? They're awesome.
Yeah, nice try, buddy.
Yeah.
So then, I wanted to kind of take that next step up. So for me, bartending seemed like the natural progression. So, I actually went to Charles to try and get a job there. And initially, he didn't want to hire me. But I ended up getting a job at Government, and that was great. Bartending at Government and Fluid, two of the hottest clubs back then. That was a lot of fun. And
Fluid Sundays.
Fluid Sundays, exactly. Yeah. So I'll get to that in a second. So then I ended up going down to New Year's in Miami for in 1997. New Year's in Miami, went down with 5 buddies. And I went to a club and ended up meeting a waitress, and she was French, but she was French-Canadian. I'm like, how are you working here? And she told me that the management company, it was actually Amnesia, had fired all their staff, and they hired a Canadian management company because they were just getting robbed by the bartenders. So she said to me, if you are Canadian and you could bartend, they will hire you on the spot. And that's what happened. I got a job. I told my buddies, see you later. I'm staying in Miami for the winter. And I worked in Miami for 4 months. And those 4 months completely changed my life.
Absolutely.
I was saying 23, 24 years old, I guess, 23, back in 1997. And I was going
Winter
to
Music Conference in Miami was popping off back then.
Miami
too.
was totally
97
different
they
back
started?
then.
Well,
Well, it was
95 almost.
It started in the early 90s, but point in case is that it was back then.
Yeah.
As shitty as to use that reference back in the day, totally different than what you get right now
Oh, for
as far
sure.
as Winter Music Conference.
Yeah, well, people actually went down for the music, and
Yeah,
people were
and
actually
contacts.
networking, and it was totally. There was conferences where people actually talk about the club business and new
Around
technology and
pools.
whatnot. Yeah,
Over
Did you get involved in that on your time off?
I didn't, but the time in Miami,
It was a good time.
really
That's the
taught
whole-
me everything about nightlife and lifestyle. I tell people it was kind of like my university, course, because working with some of the best club owners from France, from New York, from Italy, different parts of the world, people had moved to Miami and they're opening up clubs. So I'm getting to work and learn from these people. So I came back to Miami with these ideas, and I'd absorbed all the different things that I had learned from being down there. So I worked down there the first 4 months, and then I came back, worked the summer, saved my money, rode my motorcycle down for the second season, rode my
Smart
bike
move.
across the U.S. for 4 months by myself on a Ninja ZX7 across the U.S. It was not comfortable, but I wanted to have my motorbike in Miami. So
course
I ended
you
up
did.
working in Miami again another 9-10 months, and again, just absorbing ideas, learning, meeting great people, and moved back to Toronto with this vision of bringing a type of nightlife, a type of party that didn't exist.
And you guys did it well.
Yeah, and that's how Sundays at South Beach, actually it was called Sundays in South Beach at Fluid Lounge.
Yeah.
And that was the first night that I started on my own with
As a promoter?
As a promoter, yeah. And we decorated the club with all white fabric. We had candles and rose petals, and every week we had some different food offering, and we were collecting emails and taking photos before there were digital cameras. We're taking photos and just trying to add some excitement to the party and offer something unique.
Which was different in Toronto at that time.
Totally different, because the thing we
Lay
were
of the land. What's the lay of the land at this point when you're doing that? So people fully understand. Because this pretty much is the standard now, right?
Totally. Well, back then, there was maybe about 5 or 6 clubs. You got in line, you paid your cover, you got in. It was generic top 40 music. There wasn't anything interesting, anything unique. The only DJs that were coming in were for the big raves, and which you were doing. And the house scene then was very, very obviously drug oriented.
There was an
and
industry, but it was that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I'm working with you on this one. So the music scene, when you were actually paying to go into a club, it was generic top 40, or you went to a house club like Industry.
Yep.
Or System was, I think, an inception at that time. But the point is that you were getting a DJ that you were paying for, and whoever was promoting or producing the night was getting the money for that. Nobody was really decorating the clubs.
No.
Changing the atmosphere, making or even putting art up, let's say, or
Right,
making
yeah.
food, or having dancers theme-wise. That's what you guys kind of brought to Toronto at
Totally.
that time. Charles was doing something similar at the government, but that's on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Fluid held what, 800 people?
It did, but we only opened up half the venue.
Yeah.
And the idea was not to try to create something elitist, but we wanted to create a party where it was
Mature.
people of the same vibe. We want to appeal to the fashionistas, the stylists, the industry people. And what really set us apart was we were playing music that you would typically only hear in the gay clubs in Toronto.
Yeah. Circuit-wise.
Yeah,
Circuit
exactly.
music.
We were playing, the Madonna, Whitney Houston remixes, the type of sound that was very popular in Miami, the Junior Vasquez, the Danny Teneglias and whatnot. We were playing that type of vibe in an environment where we were catering to a mixed crowd, and it wasn't about how much money you had or what you were going to spend. It was more about, do you fit the vibe? Do you look the part? Do you have the right energy? Because it was about music and just
Are you
having a good
fashion
time.
conscious? Are you music conscious? Are you open-minded more?
And most importantly, don't have a shitty douchey attitude, right? So we did this in the lounge side of Fluid. So it was only I think it could only hold 200, 250 people.
The right when you went in.
Yeah, exactly. And I had all the staff wearing white, and it was just a different experience. Like on that night, Fluid wasn't Fluid. And I remember getting into arguments with my doorman, my security manager now, Carl Campbell.
Carl.
Big man.
Hard at that door.
He was running the door of Fluid, and he would let in some groups sometimes. I'd be like, dude, what are you doing? Why'd you let those guys in? He's like, Sark, bar's gotta make this money, we're gonna let them in. I'm like, look, man, this is my night, and I'm trying to do something special here. And if this night flops and fails, let it fail on my terms, not because you're messing with my dynamic. And
That
he
way he
kind
was
of
always
backed
pissed
off.
off at the
It
door.
was the old school way of thinking, right?
Yeah, he had the owners' mandate in mind, but he backed off, and slowly the numbers grew from 175 to 200 to 225 to 250 to a point where it's like it was completely full. Now, 6-7 weeks into it, the party had grown substantially. I had people tell me, I don't come here, I don't go out on Saturdays, so I can come here Sundays. And during those weeks, Ralph Maddie started coming to the party. And he would come with his crew of Tall Tony and, all the, all these cool, like, fashionable people that I saw around, but I didn't know at all. And Ralph says to me one night, he's like, "Hey, man, can I talk to you?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" He's like, "I've been here a few weeks and you've got a good party here. I like what you're doing." I'm like, "Thank you." He's like, "But I see you've kind of filled out one room and you've got a lineup. You're turning people away. How about I bring my DJ Aubrey Richards, we open up the other side, we go 50-50 on the night, I'll bring my 200 to 300 people, and we'll blow this up." And, I thought about that for maybe 15 seconds. I'm like, "Yeah, okay, yeah, I think that works. Let's do it."
In club world, more is better.
Yeah. Well, I knew Ralph had more of that underground connection, and my crowd was a little bit more kind of commercial. I had some, it was a bit of a mix because I was bartending, so I met a different crowd, and Ralph was promoting more in the underground scene, right? So contemplating that decision for about 15 seconds, agreeing to it, said, "Yeah, let's do this." I didn't know at the time it would be the beginning of an 18-year partnership. Ralph and I have been working together since 1999.
Yeah.
And it's been.
So is that ZRF, the beginning of ZRF?
Yeah, so exactly. So that.
And the Project Orange shut off that?
Yeah, so, no, Project Orange Ralph already had. So he was doing his party with Danny Teneglia. He was doing more his DJ stuff, and he was doing Tang, his Friday night, which is a mixed gay straight party at Government. So that's why I say Ralph had that network and that crowd locked in already. So it was kind of the meeting of my sort of more commercial, kind of industry type people. And then he had his underground crowd. So together it really worked. And originally it was Zark, Ralph, and friends.
Yeah.
Because we had around 4 or 5
that.
hosts that worked with us, like Carmelinda, Gino Ralph, Azadeh. We had Marlo, a big crew. And it was Zark, Ralph, and friends. And then we started Fridays at Society. And Society was, again, another idea had come up based on the Delano from Miami. The owners of Fluid owned Abracadabra, which they decided to turn into Society based on my vision. Then we had Society, then we started Thursdays at Hotel. And then so it grew to be numerous nights, several nights during the week. So that's when we kind of shortened it up and said, let's become a proper company. And we created ZRF, Zark, Ralph, and Friends. And it really blew up. We were doing 5-6 parties a week at all the top venues in Toronto.
You're hitting up all the good venues and just giving them one night.
Yeah, exactly.
And 7
Perfect
days
timing.
A week, right?
Yeah, and then I joined Ralph at Government, and I hosted Charlie's in the Drink. And it was just great. We were killing it. It was fun because we just really were able to introduce something new to the city that just didn't exist before. Yeah.
It was clubbing on a more mature level, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
was
totally.
Charles was like coming out of where he was coming out of from his days at the Government. And when it was falling short, we were all doing our raves there. So that helped bring things in. And guys like you know what I mean? It essentially really was a club of Toronto Government. But when that shut down, you could really see how everybody, still was able to blossom. And from what I understanding and recollection of Charles, he's pretty supportive to everybody as well. You're supposed to agree.
Okay. I'm just taking that in. Charles.
Aside from the Docs PETA whole thing and all that time period.
Yeah, I don't really know much about that situation. But what I can say is Charles and Ralph and we definitely have a very amicable, I think we have a good relationship. I have all the respect in the world for Charles. He is a visionary, he's obviously the king of the clubs. He's really put Toronto on the map because the Government back in the day had talent coming in that were only playing in major markets. So a lot of these DJs have a real love for Toronto because of Government and because of industry. And Charles has been a real force in the city, of course. I'm a big fan of what he's done and what he's doing. His new hotel and the restaurants there are world class. And, I love the fact that we have operators in the city who are just raising the bar in Toronto to put us at a level with Chicago and New York and even LA. Charles.
Here now, don't we?
We do have STK, and they're killing it. You know, and
My point is that you guys are moving along. You're making some noise. You don't have a club owner that's saying you guys are getting too big for your britches and shoving you out the door, right? You have club owners that are like, helping you grow as well. That's kind of the angle I was going at.
Yeah, and what I would say to that is one thing that really makes Toronto very unique from an industry perspective is a lot of the owners and groups and people, the owners, operators really support one another and communicate with one another, whereas in New York, it's very cutthroat. Even in LA, a lot of the big groups are very, they don't communicate, they don't support one another. And yeah, I guess back in the day it used to be, but now I guess it's the bigger groups that know that.
The guys of your generation, our generation.
Yeah.
Because everybody kind of came up together in its own way, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that's the thing, like, a lot of the owners now used to be promoters of ours back in the day, and they've kind of come up and
it's the same cycle we came through.
Yeah,
right?
totally. Yeah.
So where we're at now with this, say you've gone from doing, finding your way into the marketplace, finding your place in the marketplace, and then changing the marketplace. Your next step obviously is to what?
Yeah, step into ownership. So, we were promoting for years and we're working with the best in the city. And we always knew we eventually had to do it our way and do something different. So back in, I guess 2002, 2003, Ralph and I started looking for venues, and we found what was Century Room. So 580 King West, Mockingbird. Yeah, Mockingbird is a really great venue. And, it's actually, there's an interesting backstory to it. When I moved back from Miami with this vision to start promoting, myself, Neil Forrester, and Amanda Young, quite the motley crew there.
Yeah,
Amanda Young from Comfort Zone, Neil Forrester.
And started Sundays.
Yeah. So we approached the people at Mockingbird and said, hey, we want to do a weekly party here and love to book your venue every Sunday. And they turned us down. They said no. And Ralph had really great memories of Mockingbird because he had actually hosted a few of his very first parties there, which were successful. So we just had this love for the space. Even though they rejected me, I still loved the space. And I think it's because I only went to one party there once. And I loved the vibe and feel of the room. So when we started looking for spaces, a real estate agent said, hey, 580 King Street's available. And we were like, oh yeah, let's definitely try to go in and grab that. And it wasn't the smoothest deal. The landlord ended up blocking them out at the end of their term. And we ended up, securing the space. And that was our first project, like our first nightclub venue. And coincidentally, as we were ramping up to get it open, bottle service was passed in Toronto. Like bottle service was now going to be legal.
Standard.
So we designed the whole venue around bottle service. And because Ralph and I had been traveling to, New York, Miami, LA, and experiencing bottle service for many, many years, we knew how to create an environment where the focus is on bottle service from a service standpoint, but also build a party around that. And Century Room's just right time, right place. Our demographic, our clientele that had been coming to our parties for 7, 8 years, were ready to leave Richmond Street, and King Street was.
King was everybody. They were kind of shoving everybody down to King West area.
Yeah.
Break them down to smaller venues. But that venue in specific has that little outside area that's perfect, right?
Yeah. We had the little patio there, and good ceiling height, the brick and beam, the warmth of the space. There was just a lot of the right elements were there to make for a great party.
It was a good transition to bring like the house music crowd down to King West as well, because it really wasn't happening so much. You know what I mean?
No, and
some stuff back in the day, 606, but that
606, yeah.
That was random though too.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, I remember we had David Guetta play at the venue on a Wednesday night. I think we paid him like $6,000 or something.
That's when he was pushing his brand over, or his wife was at least.
Yeah. Oh, this.
What was that other loft? What was that one on Richmond? Remember the Lofters used to?
Oh yeah, it's lot. It's
Lot
232.
Lot 332.
But then there was something else
Yeah.
before that.
He was playing there.
Fez Batik.
Yeah.
Was that Batik was next door?
Yeah.
He was playing there quite a bit.
Yeah.
And crushing it there. So for him to move down to like King, and you guys packed the place like that.
Yeah, Century Room. Many people tell me now, they're like, wow, those Century Room days were really the best clubbing days they've ever had. And I got to agree, because it was just,
good room.
It was a great room. It was awesome crowd. People were going out dancing, having fun. And, we were open 5 nights a week.
Didn't Gerbs and them do, or Petta do that?
Yeah, we were doing Tuesdays together.
Yeah.
And Tuesdays were an awesome night just because, we it was called Street Level, and we just catered to the industry. And we did some really wild, fun, wacky shit, and it just worked. Yeah.
Did you at that time, were you investigating and going outside your bears, coming down to King Street to watch to see what everybody else was doing at that time, or did you stick to your?
Talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh,
You.
sorry.
Yeah,
Did
Steve.
I? No,
yeah,
I
Steve.
knew what was going on.
But did you come
we were
down
like-
during the week and stuff like that to see what these guys
I
were
lived
doing?
down here. I lived right at Queen and Dufferin. So it was like a 10-minute walk, really. Yeah, I've been to.
And did you do the same thing and go up, see what those guys were doing to keep your eye on?
Outings since the mid-90s. Just go where I want.
Okay.
So I'm taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, I always made it a point to explore if there's something new happening in the East End or something, even sometimes if there's something happening outside the downtown GTA, go check it out, just kind of get a feel for, what's out there other than our King West bubble. Because, living and working down that area, you start to think that this is all
the
there.
Mecca of
You
Toronto.
live in the area as well?
Yeah, I lived at Blue Jays Way in Wellington.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah. So I was, this was like my hood for many, many years.
So what happened after Century Room then?
So, yeah, so...
a lot to cover
Yeah,
here.
one thing to mention. So before Century Room, I opened up Blowfish.
Yeah.
And I opened up Blowfish without Ralph, which was a sore spot between us for many, many years. But I opened up Blowfish with Hanif Harji, who's actually Charles's partner now on all of his restaurants. So Hanif was a customer. I met him at some of my parties, and we got together, and he told me a bit about what he did. And he asked me, he's like, what do you want to do? Like, where do you see your future going? And moving back from Miami, there was a couple of projects I wanted to create. One was like a big nightclub, big sound, big lighting, house music in an upscale environment, which I eventually did with Maison. Yeah. And I also wanted to open up a restaurant that had that Miami, New York vibe of you come for dinner, there's great cocktails, there's a DJ, a nice ambiance, and you can stay and continue your night, or you can head to the next spot if you wanted. Because back then, 2003, Toronto didn't have restaurants with DJs. Toronto didn't have restaurants with vibe. It's like you ate at one place and you went elsewhere to have fun. So I had this vision of creating something where trendy, upscale, cool restaurant that captured that vibe, and that's what Blowfish was. So I told Hanif about this vision I had, and he said, well, I'm working on this new restaurant concept. Maybe you want to come by, take a look at it, and see maybe if it makes sense, you can get involved. So I remember it was like a cold January morning, so I guess 15 years ago, right around now. 15 years ago, I come down to King of Bathurst, and I walk into this empty, dilapidated bank building. It was a furniture store or cafe that had closed down. It was empty for 2 years, and I remember it was freezing because all the water and everything had been turned off. It was only,
of course.
Yeah, and they're telling me about this idea for this vision, this restaurant, and they wanted to do sushi, Japanese food. At the time, I didn't eat sushi. I tried it once, and I spit it out immediately. I was like, oh, I'm not going to eat the sushi
weird.
stuff. Yeah, the seaweed and whatnot. And even though I didn't like sushi, I knew people loved sushi, and it fit with the healthy lifestyle. And I knew about Nobu, so they said, we're going to try and create something like Nobu here in Toronto.
You're like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, that makes sense. And I knew that as a promoter, owning a restaurant would allow me access to a whole different demographic that I'm not meeting at the government or at Fluid or at Hotel. And I was right. It totally gave me that credibility. Gave me that credibility within a demographic that I wouldn't be meeting in the clubs. So it was a smart strategic move for me. I didn't own that much equity. We started off, I think, with like 7 or 8 partners in the beginning. And over the years, ended up buying out most of the partners. And that was Hanif and I.
You're in your mid-30s at this point, right?
No, I think I was like
30-ish.
28, 29. Yeah.
You're moving
I was still pretty
fast.
young.
It's a fast move, man.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
When you're that age.
Yeah.
Totally.
Responsibility as well, too.
Yeah, but I got to learn a lot. Like, I didn't know much about the restaurant business, so I got to learn and understand how the whole process.
So were you partying much when you're involved in these things going on? What I mean by partying, I mean partying.
Yeah, no.
Did you party?
Nah, I mean,
I never really ever saw you partying.
I got that all out of my system at your raves in the early 20s. Like when I was dancing in the clubs and we would all go out, like it would be like 15, 20 go-go dancers all going out to one of your raves. At that time, I was having fun, rocking my brain, whatever, having fun dancing.
Some people like fall down the path.
Yeah.
Where they they do later on in life. But that's a lot of things going on. Multitasking in general is difficult, let alone
Totally.
hungover, coming out from
Waking up
from
coherent.
drugs or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So your lifestyle that you started out with when we talked about you being 20 totally set the bar for you, and you like were able to keep the path as a result.
Absolutely. And I got a lot of the partying, the drinking, the drugs out of my system when I was in my early 20s, because even as a bartender, promoter, you're having drinks, you're having fun, and it's part of the lifestyle. It's okay at that age. But when Ralph and I started making great money and we started managing 4 or 5 nights, and we realized, wow, we got something really good here, I just had no desire to get
Want to stay on the
high,
ball
get
and
messed
keep it
up,
coming.
get wasted. Because, for me, when my parents separated, a month later, the banks repossessed our house. I had to move out, find my own way at the age of 21. So for me, I didn't have the financial backing or the support to afford my lifestyle or any lifestyle for that matter. So when I found a way to make money doing something I really enjoy and I'm in control of this, I was all in. Like for me, there was no other option that I got to do the best I can with what I've discovered because this could be my future.
Strike while it's hot, right?
And it paid off, So, the drugs and the partying and all that, look.
Well, because you're doing nightclubs, nights, owning bar, you're owning a restaurant now.
Yeah.
The reason why I
Working
ask is
out,
a lot
training, yeah.
Yeah, well, your personal life is kind of what kept you on track.
Yeah.
But a lot of people fall into the trap of, this is everything, and they're get into the drug, they turn into a cokehead, or an alcoholic, or just abusive to people around them.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? They get addicted to the power of what's happening. So
Yeah.
you have a good crew of people that have been working with you for years. Your partner doesn't want to kill you every day. You know what I mean? And your ventures have not only thrived, have made a good name for themselves, and you're able to move forward from there and build on that.
Yep.
There's a lot to be said for that, especially being a young man in Toronto.
For sure.
In a short period of time, too.
Yeah.
And the pinnacle of Toronto's
So,
nightlife.
Hats off for that.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And, I guess where Ralph and I really connected and we had that common ground just as far as our fundamental beliefs on how to run our businesses was, we weren't in it to get laid. We weren't in it to get hired or be cool. Thankfully, we got to do all that before we actually got into it. So for us, it was like, wow, we've got a great business here. We're very fortunate to be working with people we like, and we're creating something we really enjoy. And I know this is going to sound really cliche or whatnot, but we never really did any of it for the money. It was more about, hey, we have an idea. Our friends think it's cool. Let's make it happen. Let's see how it goes. And so the intention was always just that we had the pure intentions of let's just throw parties for our friends and do something new in the city of Toronto. And we'll see how that goes. And the money came and the success came. And I think that's why, we had the ability to work with any venue because we delivered on what we said we were going to,
Which
bring
is
to
key
their
at that
venues.
time,
Yeah.
especially
totally.
in Toronto, because a lot of people weren't delivering.
No.
So what happened after Blowfish? So you
after-
had Blowfish, you had Century Room,
Yeah,
same time Blowfish.
so it was Blowfish 2003, Century Room 2004, and then we opened Hammam Spa.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, so
that's you guys?
yeah, so we own Hammam Spa as well. Yeah, so I was in Italy for my good friend's wedding, and we were hanging out in one of the grottos on the island of Ischia. And there was the wedding party, the guys, so 6, 7 of us were sitting there in this hole in the wall, literally,
Beautiful.
steaming. And we're talking
It's
about,
amazing, though.
we're talking about, wow, life, you're getting married, you're gonna have kids, just men hanging out, talking about what's going on, and
Shit.
yeah, talking shit, talking life, talking whatever, And after that experience, we were back in Toronto, and Antonio and I were talking about, it was so cool when we were at the spa, at the grotto, just talking about life and just guys being guys, talking about what's going on. And, where could we do something like that in Toronto? Where does that exist? And you have the spas and the Russian bathhouses north of the city up in Richmond Hill or whatnot, but there wasn't really a spa that was focused on the male demographic. So we thought, knowing how King West is going to evolve and what was coming, we had that intuition that this neighborhood was only going to grow and turn into, what it is right now. We decided to create a men's only spa. So we started looking for spaces, and our idea was to create something based on the concept of the Russian Turkish bathhouses. where it's more, not just a spa, but it's a place for men to come together, congregate, meet, talk about work, politics, love, finance, whatever. And then we found a location, and it was 7,000 square feet. So then we were like, okay, well, clearly we cannot open a men's spa only for the size, but we knew it's at the corner of King and Portland, beautiful space, great location on the corner there, and rent was cheap. When we took over the space, when we did our first walkthrough, there were squatters down there. So Allied gave us a great deal on it, and we couldn't say no to it. So at that point, we decided, okay, it's going to be men and women, but we're going to have co-ed amenities. So we decided to create the hammam steam room as a co-ed shared amenity. And initially people were like, oh, I don't know if people are going to want to like steam together, like men and women. I don't know. Do you think that's okay? And even just the name hammam, a lot of people didn't understand that, what it meant. Hammam? What's a hammam or hana? Like people were butchering the name.
What does it mean?
Hammam means...
Together?
No, so hammam in Eastern Europe, in Russia, even in the Middle East, hammam is what they will call a spa or steam. Okay. It means ritualistic bath. So hammam is a treatment, and it's also a reference to that type of a spa. And if ever you're interested in having a hammam treatment, it's essentially a full body, very abrasive rub down and massage and body scrub where you actually lay on this hot marble bed, and a woman or a man bathe you by hand. They apply this olive soap to your body, scrub you down. And it's, the whip, in some countries, depending on their technique, they'll like whip you with like this kind of like broom, horse.
Oh, is that the one with the leaves on it?
Exactly, yeah. And that's to, bring the blood to the skin. And then it also involves plunging, cold pool, hot steam, cold pool, hot steam, and just totally revitalizes your skin, and you walk out of there feeling like a baby's butt. Rad. Yeah, so we
sounds
introduced...
exhausting, actually.
Yeah, well, it's
a day.
It's intense. Yeah. But it's something that, we want to create where people come to hammam, and even though it's crazy, King Street, it's packed, you walk in, you're into this nice, calming environment. Even if you're just coming in for an hour, you're in there for the hour, it's calm, it's chill, and then you get dressed and go back to your day, and you just got that little break in between, So it's done really well. We've been open 11 years now, coming up on 12. And it's just something interesting to our portfolio, right? So we opened up hammam, and then after hammam, Ralph opened up Kiwi, which was King West Kitchen, with our partner Vito and their partner Steve. And Kiwi was open. Kiwi's now Portland Variety.
Okay.
Yep. So
same
Kiwi
owners?
It's one on the corner, right?
Different owners?
Most of the same owner. Well, Vito's no longer involved, and the old chef there's no longer involved. So, but for the most part, Ralph and Steve are still the primaries there. And Portland Variety is doing phenomenally well. Milton Nunes from Le Gourmand partnered with them on it, and with his creative culinary experience, he also brought the best chocolate chip cookie in Toronto to the restaurant. So if you want to eat, so Le Gourmand.
I'm a connoisseur of chocolate.
Well, then you got to check it out. Le Gourmand has won like best chocolate chip cookie in the city numerous years in a row.
I didn't even know this.
Yeah, and that chocolate chip cookie is available at Portland Variety, and
so the best chocolate chip cookie in Toronto.
Yeah. Yeah, or Le Gourmand. Yeah, amazing. Yeah, absolutely delicious. And when they come fresh out the oven, it's
what time?
It's crack. Yeah, what time? Yeah, I think they make them twice a day depending on demand.
Off sugar, but apparently not.
Probably not.
Yeah, so then after Kiwi, then we opened up, with Antonio and John Sumaris from the Unique Lifestyle Group, we opened up Atelier.
Yeah, I remember that was
Michael
nice.
King.
That was fun too. Michael King was dope, man. That was fun. Those were parties.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite venues ever. So we opened up Atelier, which was kind of like this pseudo members club type thing, where we had a biometric thumb scanner. There's a whole process to becoming a member. We weren't charging for memberships.
Yeah,
it was cool when it worked.
People would have loved that.
It was cool when it worked. And I often say if Atelier was in Yorkville or off of King Street, it would still be around today.
Yeah.
Problem is we opened it up just as King Street became discovered.
Yeah.
And once King Street became discovered, then it was just like, wow,
Because
like all of Richmond Street moved over.
What was where's Citizen? What was up before Citizen?
Brand House.
So Brand House was going at the same time as Atelier.
Yeah.
So the more mature crowd would go to Atelier, and then the younger ones
Brand.
would go to Brand.
Yeah, so
And
Atelier.
Spice Fruit and everything else is coming about.
Yeah, all the chaos.
That's part of the King West history right there.
Yeah.
Totally.
So what happened after that?
So-
We're going to move along before we get fully invaded.
Got it. Yeah. Okay. So after Atelier, then then Ralph and I were looking for that next project. Like, what do we do next? And it was time to up our game. So then we started looking for larger venues.
I was
We
going to
want
say,
to
you
do
went
something.
back to Oz?
Yeah. So exactly. So I mean, Ralph, now has over a decade of relationships with these DJs, and he has access to a lot of really great talent. And we knew we had to do something with that. It wouldn't fit at Century Room, so started looking for venues. And I had been to Schmooze once, and I remember walking in there, and be like, "Wow, this is a great venue, rooftop patio, high ceilings." And the venue, even though I wasn't a Schmooze patron, I always loved the setup of the venue and knew it had incredible potential.
What used to be a club called
Schmooze.
before that.
Oh yeah,
It's called the Oz.
Oz, yeah.
Which you would have
wow.
been to back in the day.
Yes,
That's
so-
why you probably walked in and went, the layout's
Yeah, true. So, and a lot of good memories back in the day at Oz.
See,
Actually,
now he's like, yeah, I know.
I used to go when it was Factory.
Yeah.
Factory was nearby.
Yeah, it was.
Wasn't the same building.
Well, Oz was a totally different building than Factory.
Yeah, but Factory and Oz were next to each other.
What's the name of that street again?
Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Okay. The
Now it's
street-
Blue Jays way.
the street
Mercer?
that-
Peter.
Yes, Mercer.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
Oz had some great memories there, and then it became It,
Yes.
and then became Schmooze.
But what you guys did with it is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
So
guys brought it like into the 20th century.
yeah,
let's say.
for us, it was like, okay, here's our opportunity to do the club we've always wanted to do. Do something on a large scale, 1,000-person capacity. Let's do proper sound system, put in the function one.
in the heart of downtown Toronto
Yeah.
as well.
Right
Not
there.
on the Queen's Quay, not in Mississauga, but in
Yeah.
the heart. That's the key to the whole thing right
Totally.
there.
Totally. And, for myself personally, that was like, I guess, the culmination of my nightlife career. It was like that vision of that club that I wanted to open when I left Miami. Maison was that, big room, big sound, big light, big DJs, and people well-dressed, spending money, dancing on couches, just enjoying themselves. So Maison was really like, okay, what I initially set out to do, like that was it, So Maison, we've been open 7 years.
Yeah, it works well. Very well.
It's been a good run for sure. You normally venues of that size, have a shorter lifespan, but we've had a great 7 years, and unfortunately, this will be our last year. The whole block is getting destroyed.
I could see
Really?
that.
All
Yeah, no
condos?
That's in
Ooh.
downtown Toronto, a venue that holds 1,000 people.
Yeah, Nobu
Well,
Hotel
legally-
and residences.
Legally holds.
Yeah, legally 950, and then upstairs 350 on the roof. So,
Yeah,
it's
you're
a
putting
big
in-
venue.
You can put in 1,500 people on a good
Yeah.
night.
Yeah, oh yeah. When we've done like Solomon recently, we had like through the doors like 1,800 people. It
His
was
price tag's ridiculous.
Yeah, he charges a lot. But again, a lot of times Ralph will pick a DJ and say, we're just going to do this and go for it, because to bring Solomon to Toronto for Ralph is like, that's an accomplishment that he's proud of, because that's a result of his relationships that he's been cultivating for 2 decades now, and Ralph has access to these guys. Like,
Well,
we
Pat is
have,
helping him out, I'm sure. as well.
absolutely, for sure. So that's why when I say sometimes we don't do it for the money, it's about just doing something
It's a good night to have,
different
right?
to, for our friends, and just to elevate that in Toronto for the people that love that music.
What would you say, instead of just keep shuffling through, we're running out of time because we are at Love Child.
Yeah.
And
We didn't mention that, eh?
they're going
I
to
guess
start
we should
stirring
do
this
that.
around. We will, don't worry.
Yeah.
But your favorite event as far as vision and DJ coming together, because we're talking about both together here.
Yeah.
Do you have one?
Wow.
Or what's your best story then of the most retarded thing that has happened that you would never expected?
Can't use that word.
I can use retarded. I'm half retarded.
Wow.
You can use that word then, fair enough. As long as you own it.
Oh man. So many crazy nights and things.
That's what I'm saying. So let's plant the seed now. By the end, you can tell us one.
Okay.
How
Yeah.
about we go like this? The
Sorry,
craziest trip
ridiculous.
from-
I didn't
the
mean
ridiculous trip that you've done where things just happened. From here to say Miami or back, or like that thing that happens when you're
I would probably say it's like one of the trips to the Cannes Film Festival. Like, being down there at South of France during that festival. There are many times I just said, nobody would really believe me if I told them where I was right now. And coming from Scarborough as a dropout kid from immigrant parents, like this just not normal. I remember being at the Victoria's Secret's or the Amphar after party with One Oak hosted with all of Victoria's Secret angels there, Leonardo DiCaprio on the left, and just like something totally right out of the movies, and just thinking like, how the hell did this become my life? Like, what is going on here? You know, and at that time, it seemed really cool and really like, oh wow, I can't believe I'm here. And looking back, it was like, yeah, that was awesome. But
Just part of the puzzle, right?
Coming from a place of Scarborough, you know, to being in that environment and just being around these people was pretty surreal. You know, just kind of a very interesting journey. But
Yeah, if everybody can't see this because you were on YouTube, the look on Zark's face is something obviously he doesn't want to tell us. And that's fine because we can probably make the assumption that it was a really good night.
Yeah,
and I think Leonardo probably treated you really well that night.
Well, you know, I often say this, if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, not that I want to, as a single man, there's not much left on my list to check off. You know, I've been very fortunate and just had some incredible
What happens as you get older and you have experienced some successes, you start to realize, like, you know, the word gratitude becomes a bigger part of your life.
Self-actualization as well, too.
You know, and so if you were to ask me about my experiences, my travels, and the ones that really have meant the most to me, those would be the trips that I take with Artbound. Like the trips that I take with our charity group and the work that we do, that we've done in Kenya, in India, Nicaragua, Guatemala, and most recently Haiti. That work, the trips, the people we meet, the difference we make, gives me more gratitude, more fulfillment.
Put all those links.
Like, I mean, the club stuff and the entrepreneur stuff and all that
right?
has been awesome. I'm very grateful for the success that we've had and all we've been able to achieve. And it's allowed me to make the difference and the impact in the world that I'm now making with Artbound, and utilizing our resources to create awareness, raise money, take that money, and then go help some strangers in a country far, far away, knowing that I'll probably never see them again.
Yeah.
But the impact and what we're creating here is going to change their lives forever. So for me, definitely the Artbound trips that we do.
It's only money too, right?
It's only money. And you'd be so surprised. And this is what's really flipped the script for me, is like, $5,000, you're in Miami, you're at a table, you and a couple of buddies, $5,000, no problem, on alcohol and dumb shit. $5,000 in Haiti will feed a village for months. Yeah. You know, it's just crazy. And then you start putting into context when you're spending money. It's like,
more importantly, why are you spending it that way?
Yeah, you know,
who are you impressing?
Yeah, and then what really rocks your world is you see these people who have nothing. Like really nothing, like they scramble to get a bit of food on the table, but they're happy, they're smiling, they're laughing. They got everything they need. They've got their family around them that they love. They've got their neighbors that they like. You know, they all support one another and they are happy. They're way happier than we are here in North America.
Total exact opposite. You know, we all know people that have everything that they could possibly want financially, housing, like, you know, woman, and they're completely unhappy and they don't know how to be happy.
That's because they are comparing what they have or don't have to what others have. Yep. And they think that that possession or that accomplishment is going to define them. It's going to fulfill that void within them. And they feel that it's going to, you know, just complete them and give them that happiness. And it might for a few weeks or a few months. But, you know, after a while, you've got that, you know, 2018 Porsche until the 2019s roll around, then you're like, you know.
Well, you know what? It's a hype beast, hyper loop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, 7 years at Maison.
Yeah.
Clearly, you've done well enough there that you've been able to fund your foundations and whatnot. Where do we move on from there?
That's a good question. So, I am not going to open any more brick and mortar businesses. Just with the way rents are going up, insurance is going up.
In Toronto, it's insane.
Yeah, and also just the trend of what's happening with millennials not wanting to do the club thing. I mean, for me now, I'm 43. I don't really have the love and passion for the clubs anymore. I mean, the thing I'm really most passionate about is storytelling. So, you know, photography has been a big passion of mine for years. Now getting into videography.
Zark Life,
yeah. So sharing experiences through there. I'm in the process of starting a digital media agency with a couple of good friends, James and my buddy Phil. And essentially, we're going to offer storytelling services for our businesses, for our friends, for the charities that I work with. And, you know, through photography, through filmmaking, we are going to make a difference for people's businesses and for other, important causes, different charities, different social cause initiatives, and just raise awareness for some of this crazy shit that's happening in the planet. So for me, I love to create, love to share my story and other people's stories through visual art. So that's something I'm super passionate about as well. So there's that project I'm working on. That company's called Perception. I'm also creating my own retreat. So
Yeah, you were mentioning that outside.
yeah. So just to circle back to the whole fitness thing. So
100%.
turning 40, deciding to get back on track. A really good friend of mine who used to be one of my promoters, Mark Winkson, who became the first ever Mr. Olympia in the men's physique category, said to me, Zark, you've always been in good shape. Why don't you do a competition at 40? And I thought, yeah, why don't I? At 40, why don't I push myself to that next level?
Up in your wheelchair.
Yeah, so for me, it wasn't just about looking my best at the age of 40. It was about going from good to great, getting back into that zone of doing something because I say I'm going to do it. And competing is not just lifting weights. That's the easy part. If you like to work out, competing is like lifting weights, no problem. It's the what to eat, when to eat, how much to eat, when to train, when to sleep. Like you are on such a regimen where you're living by the clock and you have to say no to a lot of things you really like to say yes to.
Kind of sets you up for the rest of your life, though, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like the commitment, the discipline, the focus, next level. If you want to do well, it's you versus you. Mm-hmm. And every day you got to keep yourself in line, keep yourself in check. So for me, competing was about getting back to that young, broke Zark, stuck in Scarborough, sleeping on his mom's couch on Kennedy Road, saying, you know what, I've got a vision that I need to make happen and I need to be consumed by it. So I had to tap back into that hunger and that fire that I had when I was broke, moved back from Miami and had this vision of what I wanted to create. And that's what competing was for me. So I did the competition circuit for 2 years. Over 2 years, I did 4 competitions, made it all the way to the Canadian Nationals, which was further than I thought I'd go. Yeah, thank you. At the age of 42, I competed at the Canadian Nationals in Vancouver. I placed 3rd out of 13 in the men's masters category. Felt great about that. It was definitely an accomplishment, definitely something that I discovered in myself. So I'm proud of that. But then I stopped working out. That was it.
Altogether?
Yeah, for 7 months. I
Like
did
you mastered, you're good.
I think I needed a mental break and a physical break, but I also realized how bullshit the whole fitness competition world is. It's not healthy. It's actually very unhealthy, and it's very political. And a lot of people go into the competing circuit
Not knowing this.
for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And if you go in for the wrong reasons,
Kind of said the same thing.
when you come out of it, you bounce back, and then it's not healthy mentally or physically, the whole competing
What's the
thing.
first thing that you ate? I was waiting to ask him that.
I love pizza.
Yeah,
I love
I knew
pizza.
it.
It's funny. I visualized pizza.
I love pizza. Yeah,
So-
pizza, burgers. I
So
ate
you got
a
the
lot.
lifestyle adjustment.
Yeah, so after
43
that,
now.
so after the competition, then it was like, I want to be healthy, but I want to be healthy, mind, body, soul, spirit, energy, everything, As
a whole.
As a whole, totally. So then it was about, okay, how do I elevate myself, my clarity, my focus, my energy, my strength, my endurance? How do I elevate all of that in a healthy, natural way? And I have been learning new techniques. I've started meditating. Been eating differently. I'm not so focused on being jacked and ripped and,
Healthy.
that guy anymore. Now I just want to be healthy, and I want to eat pizza when I want to eat pizza, and I want to enjoy and live my life and just not be so concerned about how lean I am all the time. That being said, I also want to be more mindful and conscious of how I'm taking care of my body, because I'm 43 now. I'm not a spring chicken, and even though I feel we're going to,
Rogan
many,
says
many,
it's
many
your
more
meat
years.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this idea of creating the retreat really comes from my journey from the last 3 years. Turning 40, waking up and realizing, wow, I'd been chasing things I thought I wanted for so long, and woke up in a place that I didn't want to be in. The last 3 years have been a real amazing journey of self-discovery and self-development. And I've let go of a lot of things. Let go of a lot of.
Yeah,
Totally.
it's
Letting
amazing.
go is the most freeing thing in the world.
They say
And-
there's a saying that when you let go of everything, that's when everything comes to you.
Totally. And I've been going through that process. So I'm in that transition right now.
Can I say something too?
Yeah.
Love is infinite.
Love is.
Now that we've got ourselves into our sayings out.
Yeah.
Chad.
Well, I just felt it very important because I get where you're coming from. I got a question I want to ask you before you go on because it's been a while back. So I'm not sure if we ever talked about this before when I saw you, but you talked something about doing speaking engagements.
Yeah.
So with those speaking engagements, do you feel compelled to be able to give the holistic aspect to life, but also give, how do I say this? Give people that are coming and they want to listen to you and actually listen to you for mentoring purposes that the lifestyle that you're living, whether it's going out to clubs or fitness, or whatever you're having, what you're seeing in the social, economic, social, political aspect of things, you got to do it the right way. And what I mean by that is like, don't follow what everybody else is doing on Instagram and don't follow what your neighbor, the Jones, is doing. Try to find it for yourself. Are you going to find a way when you're doing your speaking engagements to give that to people without having to say that I know everything?
Sure.
Yeah, without sounding preachy though.
Yeah.
Preachy.
Or what's the other word when you're looking down at everybody constantly?
Condescending.
Condescending.
Yeah. So, I'm
It's a
glad you
very-
asked that
it's a
question
very-
because next month I have my first large speaking engagement. I'm speaking at Generation Now to a millennial demographic and a
boy.
panel of great speakers with a keynote by Gary Vaynerchuk,
Damn.
who's amazing.
Yeah.
Who I'm
So
definitely
once you're there again.
very proud to be
One
sharing
time
the
you're with
stage.
Leonardo DiCaprio, now you're with, there's a pattern going on.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Gary, I met him last year for the first time and attended my first kind of summit experience. I was like, wow, what is this thing? There's all these amazing people sharing all this awesome information. Like I saw them on stage. I'm like, I want to do that. I don't know what the hell I'm going to say, but I want to do that. And now I'm doing that. So next month I'm speaking at Generation Now. And the direction of my conversation is going to be how to be a successful human. Because a lot of us, when we think of success, we think about that house, that car, the money, the
right?
trips, the this, that. A lot of times it has to do with possessions or certain accomplishments that are really related to status or whatnot. And we all know some very successful, some very financially, professionally successful people who have a lot of money and a lot of possessions and their health is completely bankrupt and failing. Or their relationships.
That's a good
are in the
description,
negative.
bankrupt.
Bankrupt, absolutely. So I've had my highs and lows professionally, financially, personally, and just from what I've discovered the last 3 years is letting go, accepting yourself for who you are, not comparing yourself to others that they have this and they have that and why don't I have that, and just letting yourself develop based on the things that you're truly drawn to and passionate about and being vulnerable and open enough to share what's going on and try new things creates that space and opportunity for you to really grow and blossom and develop into who you really can be, right? And when you ask about how am I going to differentiate myself from some of the other speakers there, I think I've lived a pretty interesting life. And speaking to a millennial demographic, there are going to be some of those people in the audience who might think that hanging with Leo or Victoria's Secret angels or having nice cars or doing all that is cool and that defines success. And I can say that, no, it doesn't, because I've been there, I've done that. And in the moment, sure, it was fun. But as I said, that guy, that person is who's been stopping me from having what I really want in life now.
Kind of how to get out of your own way.
Totally. And what we don't realize is sometimes on the grind and chasing those things that we think are successful, we compromise and sacrifice the things that we are truly going to want later on in life.
Yeah.
It's the things that, it's the actions we take and the things that we sacrifice that later we look back and be like, okay, maybe that wasn't a good idea,
There's a few of those.
And, as far as my delivery and speaking to people, speaking to the audience, I plan to share my talk by way of, this is what I did and this is how I screwed up. These are the mistakes I made. This is what I got out of it.
Kind of like a big brother experience where it's
Yeah.
like, or father.
I don't know if you really screwed up though, man, because
would
at the
say
end of the
screwed,
day,
yeah.
life is what it is.
It's a journey.
Right?
And I don't
And, like,
regret anything.
It's good. It's not a bad
Be
thing.
grateful and expansive.
I think
right?
what I get out of this from you, Zark, is like, I feel that when you say that you made a mistake, you're still battling yourself internally in an odd way that.
Perfectionist approach, right?
Yeah, sure.
That's a good way to look at it, because you are like,
Yeah.
I mean, when I think about all the details of all the stories you've told us, that all the details when you walk in to say, like, when I first went into Blowfish, I'm like, holy shit, the energy's live in here. And we had a table with about 15 people when we first walked in and ate a lot of food. That energy resonated going into Central Room. Like, holy shit, this DJ standing near the speaker by the DJ as he's playing like sick ass house.
Yeah.
So I can see all the intricacies that you've done and all the details you've put in, and knowing that Zark, the way that you drove your Porsche, the way that you, the clothes that you wore, the style that you pulled off, the suits that you wore, all that stuff.
Right.
The watch that you had was all perfectly placed. And I see it now that it's coming out in ways that you just mentioned, Stephen, perfection. Is that going to be a problem?
First off, there's no such thing as perfect. I'm far from perfect. No one's perfect, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's having a vision and knowing what you want to create, but then also knowing that whatever it is you're creating, it's going to take on its own life, and it's going to happen the way it's going to happen, and that's okay. Like,
that's cool.
When I say, like, even my life having the ups and downs, and even the financial challenges I've had over the last few years, if it wasn't for those ups and downs, I wouldn't be in this place right now with the perspective that I have, with the knowledge and experience that I have benefited from waking up at 40, being like, wow, what's going on here? Because if I hadn't gone through that hard time and I had just continued,
You wouldn't be able to recognize it.
I wouldn't have, and maybe I would have had that revelation or that wake up moment at 55 or 60, and then be like, oh, wow, what the hell was I doing the last 30, 40 years? You know, so I'm grateful that I woke up at 40 feeling that way, because I still have many years now to create the life that I want, and most importantly, have the impact and benefit others, you know, whether it be by sharing my story, whether it be by being more compassionate and listening to them,
Just
to
putting
hear
yourself
what's
out
going
there
on
in
with
a
them.
different way. Well, more importantly, in a more honest way as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? Yeah. So, and just to finish off on the retreat thing. So essentially, I'm curating a week called the Alive Experience. And it's in Costa Rica, in the Nicoya Peninsula, which is one of 5 blue zones in the world where people live past 100. It's a very special place with a...
That's Pacific side you were saying, right?
Yeah, exactly, in Nicoya Peninsula, just north of Nosara. And every day starts with a yoga and meditation session.
Is that your intentions?
Yep. So you start the day in a very positive way. It's a retreat's only for 12 people. I'm keeping it kind of a small, intimate group. So it's a tight group of like-minded individuals that I want to spend a week with. And every day there's every day is a different activity: zip lining, hiking through the jungle, ATVing through the rivers and trails, surf lessons. So different activities, just kind of light you up, get you out of your comfort zone. There'll be totally. Shake you alive, knock you alive, you know? And then there'll be some cooking lessons with learning some traditional Costa Rican dishes, making food with organic, natural produce from the farms nearby. The group workout classes, so get everybody's fitness on, teaching them how to work out when you're not in the gym, whether it be TRX, rubber bands, plyometrics, again, applying some of the fitness stuff that I've learned. And then there'll be inspiring conversations led by my friend Chris Hawk, who's living in Costa Rica now, an amazing life coach named Lindsay, who'll be working on leading workshops on purpose and passion, helping people just discover what is it that they truly care about, what it is that what impact do they want to make in this world. And then I'll also be just sharing stories about what I've gone through the last 15, 20 years of my life and where I'm at. And that's happening in Costa Rica.
So what's the dates on that?
March 15th to the 22nd.
So which night, so it's a full week. Are you doing
Thursday to Thursday.
So are you doing the ayahuasca on the Saturday?
A few people have asked me that, and I actually tried ayahuasca for the first time in November.
Okay.
That's a whole other episode there.
Yeah, we'll tap into that, because I know that they're starting to get itchy over here.
Yeah.
I love chow.
I love chow. I don't think there's any time cap here. Yeah,
I thought there was someone
Phil's here.
slamming
Yeah.
doors.
Oh no, one of our partner Phil on Perception is here. So we got our meeting.
But I do want to hear that ayahuasca score.
Yeah, and that one will like now or later. It's pretty long. It's a
let's
long
do it
one.
Let's do an update.
So the reason why I'm not doing the ayahuasca there is, one, it's a liability, because again, you don't know what people are going to get out of it. But actually, there is a retreat happening in Costa Rica with ayahuasca.
I thought it was
where you can go.
Is it?
They have
There's a few of them now.
Yeah,
there's
them
just
in
one.
South
They're
in
actually doing them in the
Nicaragua.
States now, too,
wow.
by the way.
I wouldn't do that one.
Yeah,
no,
no,
I wouldn't want to be in a jungle. If I run away, I'd
That's a
run
bad
away.
energy.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't know what or why someone's taking ayahuasca and what they're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be responsible for that.
So you've done it one time.
I've done it twice.
Oh, twice
and
now,
the thing
okay.
is, you have to eat. Normally you do ceremonies back to back.
Yeah.
So I did one Friday, one Saturday in November with Ralph for his birthday. We did it together.
Oh,
which
no
was
way.
cool. Yeah.
Wow.
Whose idea was that?
It was his. He invited me to go. Our friend
Damn.
Chris Hawk knew that there were certain shamans visiting,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he invited Ralph. And then Ralph said, "Hey, Zark, I think you're ready
I
for
had the
this."
chance.
Was it scary?
No,
Or just an
no, it
experience
wasn't
you
scary.
kinda
It was
really-
pretty peaceful. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I would definitely do it again.
You're in a
Yeah,
good state
for
of
sure.
mind, healthy body was good.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So you have to eat very clean, no alcohol. You have to eat very light, and so there's preparation going into it, and then afterwards you have to maintain that diet for a few days. I didn't, and the day after I went back to kind of eating normal. I had a couple of margaritas, and for the next 24 hours I was laid out in bed. It was bad. So I
interesting.
don't think doing ayahuasca and my retreat would go well together.
Yeah.
But it's something that definitely, I can see why it's totally life-changing for people. Ayahuasca is something that is becoming more popular.
It's crazy,
and it's waking people up. It really is allowing people to sort of tap into a higher level of consciousness, and certain things come up that they realize, holy crap,
Again, love is infinite.
yeah, this isn't
the only thing
the
that's
life I
infinite.
want to be living, you know? So it's powerful, and it's pretty awesome for sure. So
Awesome.
So bright-eyed and bushy-tailed on a Saturday afternoon, from a 20-year-old boy lost in the city to a man
Scarborough.
to a man in, where were you when you did your ayahuasca?
in Costa Rica. In
Costa
Nosara.
Rica,
Yeah.
doing some ayahuasca with probably your best friend, actually, Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph is definitely one of the closest people in my
Yeah,
life. For
he'd
sure.
have to be.
Yeah, you know, my relationship with Ralph is really interesting. Often say nothing has prepared me for marriage like my partnership with Ralph.
I can believe
it's
that.
like, you know, we're bonded together by the love of the business we have. You know, the business is like our children.
Yeah.
And we've been together so long. It's like there are days we hate each other, the days we love each other, but we've been together so long. We value each other and we respect one another because I know what he brings to the partnership and how he makes me better, and vice versa. So we're like that old married couple that argue and bicker all the time, but we know we're stuck with one another.
That's fun.
Kind of like Chad and I. We got along. I can't stand him most.
You guys would have cute kids together. Yes.
No, they wouldn't. You don't
I'm
want
a top.
Steve's nose. You don't want my hairline. You kind of want my calves.
I really
My
don't want
calves
it.
are nice.
Although there's a lot of gratitude in my life, you're not one of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks so much, Zark.
No
for
problem.
stopping
Thank you,
by.
for
sir.
having
Yeah,
me,
for
guys.
sure, man. That was awesome.
Great stories. We wanted just to make it a bit different. We didn't want to do an interview approach. We
Yeah.
just wanted to hang out, talk shit, but at the same time, knowing full well that the listener, you guys, thanks for tuning in, by the way.
It's going to be a good one for everybody here. And I'm hoping that people can actually go to your retreat and get something out of this.
Hold
you know what
on.
I mean?
So he's got 12 people or 15?
Yeah, so it's 12 this time around,
These are
and
the
it's really
questions.
like a pilot project for a small group. But the plan is, if this works, and I'm very confident it will, I will be doing these retreats probably about 6 times a year for groups as large as 16 people only. I will always want to keep them pretty tight and intimate because I want that interaction and that closeness of relationships. So it's something I will take to
So
another.
it's a passion project. right?
Absolutely. But I made a commitment to myself the last time I was in Costa Rica that my life will be 6 months Toronto, 4 months Costa Rica, 2 months Vancouver Island. That's the life I want to live. And
Make it happen.
the retreat in Costa Rica will allow me to spend those 4 months there, offering people a unique experience that is purposeful, impactful, will allow them to really leave that week with something that will forever change your life. And it could actually even be lucrative, you know? So for me, I'm okay to make less, but really, really love what I
To
do.
live life better.
Working in an environment that I wake up super happy about where I am, you know, because I love living in Toronto. Toronto will always be my home. But when I come back from being in the jungle for 2 weeks and I got to deal with traffic and streetcars and the noise and the chaos, I'm just like,
Back.
yeah, get me out of here. You
Yeah.
know?
So how can people get hold of you? First of all, they can
plug it
follow
all.
you on
Yeah.
YouTube.
Yes.
Yep.
Which
YouTube,
is-
my channel is Zark Life. So just my name, ZARK. Second word, life, pretty easy. My website, zarkfatah.com. And on there has all my company projects. It has my photography. My photography is available for sale with the funds going to Artbound. It's got my blog up there, links to my YouTube. So kind of anything or everything you want to know about me is on zarkfatah.com.
So if I'm interested in going on your retreat or following it,
Yeah.
I can do it through Instagram as well.
Totally, yeah. So
And that is?
Yeah, so, and just my name, @ZarkFatah. Yeah.
Okay.
But with this retreat, after this first one, I'm going to be launching a website. I'll have a dedicated Instagram
But
for that.
they can keep track of it because
Totally,
that's time
absolutely.
from now, right? So coming from this, they can keep track of you through those apps.
Absolutely, yeah.
And anything else you wanted to plug while you're at it?
Let's see what else.
Social media-wise.
Yeah, check out Artbound. Artbound.ca. If you want to know about what we're doing and the different charitable initiatives that we have going on. A lot of people see the trips we do and they're like, "Wow, how can I get involved? I'd love to take a trip like that." It's not as hard as you think. Me to We, the organization that it's a travel arm of the We organization.
Yeah.
They organize some amazing trips around the world that you can take a working vacation or a vacation with purpose, and you can go spend a week in a country
It's a great
helping
description.
strangers.
Vacation with purpose.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And it's an amazing experience. It will change your life. And, you think you're giving back, you get back 10 times more than you give. So, if you really want to flip your script and have a whole new perspective on life, take one of the Me to We trips, or
dope.
join us with Artbound. And on my YouTube channel, I'll be putting up links for our new company, Perception, for the Artbound stuff.
We'll put all the links in your description as well.
Yeah,
So-
perfect. I appreciate that. And then
Both
also
YouTube.
the Alive experience. And then, capturegroup.ca. That's kind of the main link for all of our businesses, for our company portfolio.
Capture?
Yeah, capturegroup.ca.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So all the links will be in the description. I'm looking at Chad right now.
Yeah. All the links will be there. We'll get it
And
all done.
everybody can find
It's
each
good.
other. And so the next time we run into each other, you can tell us the ayahuasca story
Sure.
as well as
Where
give a
things are
more
going.
vivid description of the retreats and whatnot.
Yeah.
And we do a YouTube as well video. So
Okay, awesome.
with the audio, and you can shoot your images across it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Just
it's
can
gonna
get
be
together and
awesome.
Coordinate that.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Sark.
Thank you very
Thanks for
much. It was
having me. It was
awesome. This
fun,
was a good
yeah.
one. Good first Saturday morning.
My name is Steve Mealing.
And this is Chad Cranston. I want to thank everybody else first and foremost for all your likes on the Instagram and your comments on the YouTube. We got a lot of videos up there that are very interesting from all.
Just put it on in the
Perspective of
background and
life.
cook dinner or something.
So yeah, let's do it up. We are the City Podcast, and we are gone.
All right, so how'd I do?
You did amazing.
Yeah.
3 out of 10.
From the last time we spoke, lots changed, and I think that you're progressing in a beautiful way that I think is going to be very beneficial to a lot of people. Because the influence is there. People are always constantly watching what you're doing. Obviously, as you know that. But I think that you're in the right dynamic to really show people what it's really all about when it comes down to life and just things that you know. You know what I mean? They can take their own ideologies and do what they want with it, but I think when you have something that's positive for a lot of people, I think it's a good thing. You can't go wrong with it. You know what I mean? So I'm happy we did it today, man. It's awesome, and I'm looking forward to getting this thing out as soon as possible, up on YouTube and on iTunes and on Google Play as well.
All right, yeah, man, me too. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Steve, thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, blast from the past.
Sark, there it is. It always
All right.
starts with a handshake. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
All right, well, that's a wrap. That was fun doing the City Podcast with Chad and Steve. We talked about a lot of different stuff. And hopefully people enjoy that. It was quite long, about an hour, but definitely shared a lot. Shared a few things I didn't actually think I was going to talk about, but hey, it's all about being open and vulnerable, right? Yeah, I had a good time. That was fun.